Hello everyone, welcome to Lost in the Stacks. I am Christy. I'm very excited about today's video because we're talking about my works in progress. For those of you who don't know, I am an author. I'm not an author yet, but I'm a writer and I'm working on several different books, and I really want to make a video and just talk about them for anyone who's curious. Like, if you follow me on Instagram and you just want to know more about the books that I'm writing, here we are. And if this is going to be boring to you, I'm sorry, but you should watch this anyways. Or maybe not, if you really are interested. But yeah, let's get into it. The first book that I want to talk about is hopefully going to be my debut novel, and the title is a working title. It's not final yet, but right now I'm calling it Broken Return, but like something about that just doesn't make sense to me. I feel like I need to do something else, so I'm working on that. Right now it's called Broken Return. So this is, well, let me start with, I am a Christian. I'm also a writer and hopefully one day an author, but I am not a Christian author. I don't put those two together because I don't want to just have Christians read my stuff. I want to be able to write stuff for everyone, not just people who are the same as me. So with that being said, this book is going to be one of my few, probably in my life, actual Christian fiction books. I'm not going to market it as Christian fiction, but it's technically Christian fiction. And I say that because it is based on my personal testimony and how God saved me. So it's loosely based on that, not technically all the way. There is stuff that's exaggerated for the point of the story. But it is loosely based on my own testimony and how God saved me. Because I'm very passionate about my faith and want to talk about it, but I don't want that to be the only thing I write about and the only kind of people that I write for. I want to mostly write books that are for everyone. So this is one book, anyone can read it, but it is a Christian fiction book and it's whatever. Basically, we follow Nezrin. Nezrin, which means wild rose in, what is it? Persian. It means wild rose in Persian. It's normally spelled differently. I spell it with a Y. It's normally spelled with an I, because I just like that spelling better, because I'm weird like that. Nezrin is the name that I picked for myself a long time ago, and I normally go by it with video games and things like that, but it's also the main character of my book. Her name is Nezrin Sturm. Sturm means storm in Irish. If you read my books, there's a lot of like underlying stuff with like words and things. I use a lot of words from different languages because I love linguistics, even if half of it doesn't make sense to me. So a lot of the name places in this are Hebrew names because I just find that they're really good fantasy sounding names that also have a lot of depth and meaning to the words themselves. Because each place represents different things. And when you read it, you'll understand what I mean. Basically, we follow Nezrin. Nezrin lives in Tavel. Tavel is this giant island. It's this one big continent on this world. And she lives with the Freed. So basically there is the Freed and then there's the rest of Tavel. The Freed, they don't like the rest of Tavel because the rest of Tavel actually rebelled against the maker or the creator. And so the Freed, which if you haven't figured out are the Christians, they live to try and witness and try and bring the rest of Tavel back under the rule of the maker. And Aruka, son of the maker, is their leader. And he's an actual person in this. Like, it's not just so nebulous. Like, he's there, he's doing his thing, he's their general. And so Nezrin grows up in there. But when you grow up in the Freed, when you turn 18, the age of accountability, you have to choose. Do you want to stay with the Freed? Do you want to serve Aruka? Do you want to serve the maker? Or do you want to go out on your own to Tavel? And most people who grow up choose the Freed, but there's always a few people who are just like, no, not for me. Nesrin, she struggles with doubts and wondering whether or not she actually wants to stay. And it's in the first chapter. She just has a lot of doubts, and she's just like, I don't know if I want to stay, because she's worried that she's never felt comfortable there. She's never been able to find happiness or purpose there. And the only reason she wants to stay is because she doesn't want to hurt her family. And when the choosing ceremony happens, what does she do? She chooses to stay. But the entire book is her quest to find happiness, to find purpose in this world, and she really doesn't believe that she's going to find it with the Freed. So she's trying to find ways to do that without hurting the people that she loves. And it's a very tragic story. It's very dark. I really wanted to paint a picture of like a very dramatic picture. Everything's exaggerated, so I painted a very dramatic picture between the Freed and the rest of Tavel, and like dark and the light kind of deal. But the dark is also very seductive, and it has stuff that we want. And so Nesrin, she starts exploring these places. And if you are a Christian, you probably can guess where it ends. Obviously, I'm a Christian. This is based on my own testimony. So like, but I talk about a lot of deep and dark things, which is part of the reason I don't want it to be Christian fiction, is because I feel like there are a lot of Christians who will hate me for some of the stuff that I put in this book. Because I do not paint over anything. I'm very blunt. I'm very black and white. And one of my friends who's helping me, who's reading this book and giving me advice, she was like, I feel like you can go darker. So I'm currently in edits right now, so I am going to go darker. That is my plan. I'm going to make this a very dark fantasy book. And yes, it is fantasy. It's set in a fantasy world. There's magic. It's very loose magic. It's not a very strict magic system or anything. But yeah, I'm very excited about this. Currently, I finished the rough draft about a month ago. And yesterday, well, no, a couple months ago, when I post this video, it'll be a couple months ago. And I am currently in the midst of doing my first round of edits. I have no idea what to do with the editing process, so this is just, I'm doing my best. I am currently looking for someone who can help me edit this book, especially when it comes to grammar and syntax and all of that, because I do struggle in those areas. I can write content all day, but when it comes to grammar, I do struggle. So I am looking for someone. So if you know someone, or you are someone who would love to help with that, please reach out to me, because I need your help. But yeah, I'm really excited about this. I am planning on self-publishing it. I haven't decided exactly how that's going to work yet. I'm just trying to get it written and edited right now. But I'm very excited. This is probably going to be my debut novel. I am planning on there being a second book. So the first book follows Nesrin. There's another main character in this called Mira. And the second book will follow her. That will be loosely based on Jackie Hill Perry and Rosaria Butterfield's testimonies. And I'm very excited about that, because they are two women that I look up to a lot and I think are incredible. And I love their stories of how God got them. So I'm very excited about it. But I have 3 other books to talk to you about, so let's get into that. The second book I want to talk to you about is a middle grade book that I'm currently working on, and I have not come up with a title yet, but basically it follows these 2 kids. One of them is a cabin boy, one of them is a prince. So the cabin boy works on the ship. They're taking the prince across the sea to go visit his family, and, well, pirates attack the ship and capture both of them. And so they have to figure out how to get off the ship, and there's a lot of prejudice, a lot of pride in between the 2 boys. So they both have to work on that and like come together to escape the pirates and get home. So it's a really fun little adventure, and I'm very excited for it. It might end up being elementary. I don't know. I'm just writing it, and then I'm going to like submit it to publishers and see what they take it for. We'll see what happens. It's probably going to end up being middle grade though, and I'm very excited about it because it's really cute. I really love the characters. and it's just an easy write, really. So yeah, that's my fun little project that I'm working on the side, just for when I need a break from the heavier stuff that I'm writing. But I am planning on traditionally publishing it. Hopefully, we'll see what happens. I have a couple publishers that I plan on sending it to. But yeah, I don't know what it's gonna be called yet, but on to the next book. The book that I'm most excited that I'm currently working on, other than Broken Return, the other one I'm super excited about, is called Tanheld Chronicles. Now this, I'm not sure if it's going to be one book or if it's going to be a duology. I have not decided yet. If it's going to be one book, it's going to be split into 2 parts. But the thing is, I don't know how long this book is going to be yet, so I don't know if I'll want to split it into 2 parts or if I'll just have it as one. We'll see what happens. Basically, it is set in the Victorian era, and I love the Victorian era, if you have not heard. I love writing about history, so this is a sort of historical fiction, but it's set in a parallel world where there's magic, there are gods and goddesses that govern this magic, and it is set in this place called Tanheld, which is England, and I use real history to inspire the events that happen in these books. Basically, there are these people called Tanbrands who have been blessed with magic from the gods or goddesses, whichever one is their patron. And they have certain quests. It's their life quest from this god or goddess. And our main girl, she has been given the quest to actually talk about female Tanbrands, because in history, female Tanbrands have been kind of washed over, and no one really even thinks that they exist. But she's been told by this goddess, that's her patron, that yes, they do exist, and she needs to find them. So that's her whole quest, is to do that. And her father allows her to disguise herself as a man, which her mom does not like. Very Mrs. Bennet, Mr. Bennet kind of vibes. And so her dad allows her to disguise herself as a man so that she can go to university and she can actually work on her quest. And she becomes a historian and a botanist. And she has magic, of course. So the book follows her. It's very academia, dark academia kind of vibes. And she goes on this quest with her research assistant to find these female Tanbrands and study them. And so throughout the story, we follow 2 other main characters who Weira, our main girl, she is learning their stories. In the first half of the book, we learn about one girl who she is during the beginning of the plague. And the plague first came to England, and she is an herb witch, which I love herb witches. I love writing about them. If I could be any fantasy character, I would be an herb witch. Nature magic, healing people with herbs and potions and stuff would be great. But she's an herb witch, and things don't go well when the plague comes to her town in North Hampshire, England, it's Tanbrand. It's Tanheld. That's what it's called. Tanheld, but it's also England. But everything's based loosely on different actual places in England, and also Wales, the island of Anglesey, because our second main girl, our second main character that our main girl is studying, if that makes any sense, she is set during the time of the Druids on the island of Anglesey, which is, I can't remember what it's called, but it's called something else in the book. Rehina is the name of the island. And she is set during the time when the Romans invaded Anglesey, and basically they wiped out the Druids, committed genocide. And so she lives during this time, and she's a priestess, and she has to help protect her people from the Ronin who are coming to invade. And I am so excited to write these characters. I've been doing a ton of research because, again, it is based on real history, so I want to be historically accurate while also, it is a fantasy novel, so not everything is exactly historically accurate. It's magical realism. I love it. It's fun. But yeah, I am so excited about this book because it was just a random idea, and it came out of studying the Druids and this event that happened in Anglesey. That was my like inspiring. I was like, I want to write a book about this, and then the rest came. So I spent like 3 months planning this book before I even started writing it. And even I've written 4 chapters so far, and I'm thinking I need to go back and rewrite a little bit before I move on further because I don't like the way I started the book very much. So we'll see. I'm very excited. NaNoWriMo is happening this month. I think when I'm putting up this video, it will probably be the first weekend of November. So for NaNoWriMo, I'm doing this for the first time since my senior year of high school. Senior year of high school was also the first time I did NaNoWriMo, and I wrote my first novel, and it was trash. It was very cringe. I actually started rereading it recently, and I was like, oh my gosh, I've gotten so much better at writing since then. But it was really fun, and so I'm doing it again this year, finally, and I plan on hopefully doing it every single year, or at least every other year. But the book I have planned is I'm going to try writing a romantasy novel. Like a year or 2 ago, I wrote this blood oath. It was a blood vow. So like marriage vows, but with a blood oath cut in your hand. So I really want to write a book based on those. That's my central thing. So basically we have 2 witches. They're from warring covens, and something starts attacking different witches and warlocks, because it's a male and female based covens. And so also there's a lot of very much prejudice and stuff in these different covens, and it's really gonna be fun to write. But anyways, the males are very misogynistic, and I'm very excited to write it. For some reason, I'm just like, oh, let's write some very villainous characters. Oh yeah, they're just misogynistic, that's all. Anyways, back to the story. There is this something that is attacking these different witches and warlocks and killing them, draining them of their blood and their magic. And so these 2 characters, they find out that they need to work together to figure out what's killing their people and how do they protect them. And they end up falling in love through the whole process. I haven't figured out the ending yet. But we'll see what happens. I'm very excited to see like where this goes. I have like the first half outlined and the basic world building done, but like maybe by the time I actually publish this video, I'll have like the rest of the outline, but at this moment I don't know what I'm doing. So we'll see what happens. I don't know, but I'm excited, and I probably will try and traditionally publish this, especially since romantasy is like a big thing right now. But we'll see I really don't know about publishing, like what I want to do. I know Broken Return is most definitely going to be self-published, because I don't think anyone's going to take it. But that is neither here nor there. I want to self-publish that one. I don't know about the rest of the books though that I'm working on. Like I want to try and get agents and like query agents and try and get some published like traditionally, but I don't know how that's gonna go or what's gonna happen, and we'll just have to see. But yeah, if I self-publish everything and it actually does well, I'm fine with that. But you know, having a traditional publisher to market your book for you and everything is also great. Or at least doing it in indie publisher. But we'll see what happens. But that book is going to be called A Bond of Blood. That's my working title for it. But I'm very excited about trying to write a romantasy, because I've been doing little short stories with romance to try and like build my ability to write romance, and I'm very Oh, it's gonna be enemies to lovers, and I'm so excited because I love enemies to lovers tropes. I'm a basic white girl in that way. Like, so yeah, I have 4 works in progress because I'm crazy and I can't stop coming up with world ideas and book ideas. It's a curse. It's a blessing and a curse. Like, if I ever get to the point where I can do this as a full-time job, that would be amazing, because then I could just write all the time, and I would probably be a very prolific writer if I had the ability to just write all the time, or at least most of the time. Yeah, because the job I work at, like, I can write sometimes, but like not all the time, and also I feel like every time I sit down to write I get interrupted. But you know what? It's fine. It's fine. I'll get stuff written at some point. But I'm trying not to come up with more ideas right now, or at least like write them down and not start writing them until like I have finished at least one of these 4 books that I'm currently working on. But yeah, pray for me, guys, because I'm struggling. But yeah, I am so excited about all of these books. I'm excited to see what they become, and if anyone knows of a person who wants to edit my books for free, or, you know, cheap, and would actually do a good job, please let me know, because I need help. But yeah, I'm super excited. I love writing, and I love creating worlds and creating stories, and I'm so excited for when I actually get to share them with people. I'm also working on another project, which is I'm writing short stories. I'm gonna make a short story collection at some point, because I write short stories to like break up my novels and just give me a little break. So I'm having fun with those. But yeah, I'm really excited for all my books. And yet again, I do not know how to end a video. But yeah, keep an eye out for me. If you don't follow me on Lost in the Stacks, my Instagram, please do so. Or sign up for my newsletter on christydarling.com, or even follow my Substack, because I write on there pretty regularly. Yeah, follow me at everything, because I'm hopefully going to be a published author one day, and I can't wait to actually have like people who want to read my work and have a fan base, and I'm like so excited for it. Like, I want to share my stuff, and I hope that people like it. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed hearing me rant about all these different stories that I'm working on, and I can't wait to share them with you. But for now, I gotta go. So, bye!